That looks good there, Sissy.
Hey, kids.
Hi.
Hey. She even looks good in armor.
Uncle Joe, why doesn't she write?
Well, I guess she's insane. She keeps her busy.
You should have married her. Then she'd have to write to us.
Our goodness, this packet just arrived for all of you by air express from Spain, sir. Oh, I took the liberty of unwrapping it for you.
It's from Carol. Look, she says, the storekeeper said this was designed for the prettiest girl in Spain. If you were here, that would be you. I thought Mrs. Beasley might like a Spanish friend.
Nice gesture, sir.
What did you get, Uncle Bill? Oh, here it is.
Well, looks like publicity thing. It says, on the set of St. Joan, Carol Haven announced that she is signed for 6 pictures to be produced within the next 3 years. The first will be Mama Wore Spangled.
Oh, I'm indeed sorry, sir.
Why should anybody be...
All right. Okay. Have you noticed that almost from the beginning, the nature of the questions asked Joan, so that in some way or other, the questions very often already knew his fact before he asked his questions? Have you noticed that somehow or other, the questioners usually knew just how and where to search for Joan's secrets, that they really knew the bulk of her privacies, a fact not suspected by her, and that they had no task before them but to trick her into exposing those secrets? Do you remember Loiseleur, the hypocrite, the treacherous priest, tool of Cauchon? Do you remember that under the sacred seal of the confessional, Joan freely and trustingly revealed to him everything concerning her history, save only a few things regarding her supernatural revelations, which her voices had forbidden her to tell to anyone, and that the unjust judge, Cauchon, was a hidden listener all the time? Now you understand how the inquisitors were able to devise that long array of minutely prying questions, questions whose subtlety and ingenuity and penetration are astonishing until we come to remember Loiseleur's performance and recognize their source. Ah, Bishop of Beauvais, you are now lamenting this cruel iniquity these many years in hell. Yes, verily, unless one has come to your help. There is but one among the redeemed that would do it, and it is futile to hope that that one has not already done it. Joan of Arc. We will return to the court and the questionings. Did they make you still another promise? Yes, but that is not in your process. I will not tell it now, but before the 3 months I will tell it to you. The judge seemed to know the matter he is asking about already. One gets the idea from his next question. Did your voices tell you that you would be liberated before 3 months? Joan often showed a little flash of surprise at the good guessing of the judges, and she showed one this time. I was frequently in terror to find my mind, which I could not control, criticizing the voices and saying, they counsel her to speak boldly, a thing which she would do without any suggestion from them or anybody else. But when it comes to telling her any useful things, such as how these conspirators managed to guess their way so skillfully into her affairs, they are always off attending to some other business. I am reverent by nature, and when such thoughts swept through my head, they made me cold with fear, and if there was a storm and thunder at the time, I was so ill that I could but with difficulty abide at my post and do my work. Joan answered, that is not in your process. I do not know when I shall be set free, but some who wish me out of this world will go from it before me. It made some of them shiver. Have your voices told you that you will be delivered from this from this prison. She would be delivered from this prison. Without a doubt they had, and the judge knew it before he asked the question. Ask me again in 3 months and I will tell you. She said it with such a happy look, the tired prisoner and I, and Noel Rangusen drooping yonder, while the floods of joy went streaming through us from crown to sole. It was all that we could do to hold still and keep from making fatal exposure of our feelings. She was to be set free in 3 months. That was what that meant. We saw it. The voices had told her so and told her true. True to be very day, May 30th. But we know now that they had mercifully hidden from her how she was to be set free, but left her in ignorance. Home again. That was our understanding of it. Noel's and mine. That was our dream. And now we would count the days, the hours, the minutes. They would fly lightly along. They would soon be over. Yes, we would carry our idol home, and there, far from the pomps and tumults of the world, we would take up our happy life again and live it out as we had begun it, in the free air and the sunshine, with the friendly sheep and the friendly people for comrades, and the grace and charm of the meadows, the woods, and the river always before our eyes, and their deep peace in our hearts. Yes, that was our dream, the dream that carried us bravely through that 3 months to an exact and awful fulfillment, the thoughts of which would have killed us. I think if we had foreknown it and been obliged to bear the burden of it upon our hearts the half of those days, those heavy days. Our reading of the prophecy was this. We believed the king's soul was going to be smitten with remorse and that he would privately plan a rescue with Joan's old lieutenants de Lanson and the bastard and La Hire, and that this rescue would take place at the end of 3 months. So we made up our minds to be ready and take a hand in it. And the president also in the latter sittings, Joan was urged to name the exact day of her deliverance, but she could not do that. She had not the permission of her voices. Moreover, the voices themselves did not name the precise day. Ever since the fulfillment of the prophecy, I have believed that Joan had the idea that her deliverance was going to come in the form of death, but not that death. Divine as she was, dauntless as she was in battle, she was human also. She was not solely a saint, an angel. She was a clay-made girl, a human girl as any in the world. And so, the death, no, she could not have lived the 3 months with that one before her, I think. You remember that the first time she was wounded, she was frightened and cried, just as any other girl of 17 would have done, although she had known for 18 days that she was going to be wounded on that very day. No, she was not afraid of any ordinary death, and an ordinary death is what she believed the prophecy of deliverance meant, I think, for her face showed happiness, not horror, when she uttered it. Now I will explain why I think as I do. 5 weeks before she was captured in the Battle of Compiègne, her voices told her that what was coming. They did not tell the day or the place, but said she would be taken prisoner and that it would be before the feast of St. John. She begged that death, certain and swift, should be her fate, and the captivity brief, for she was a free spirit and dreaded the confinement. The voices made no promise, but only told her to bear whatever came. Now, as they did not refuse the swift death, a hopeful young thing like Joan would naturally cherish the fact and make the most of it, allowing it to grow and establish itself in her mind. And so now that she was told she was to be delivered in 3 months, I think she believed it meant that she would die in her bed in the prison, and that was why she looked happy and content, the gates of paradise standing open for her, the time so short, you see, her troubles so soon to be over, her reward so close at hand. Yes, that would make her look happy, and that would make her patient and bold, and able to fight her fight out like a soldier. Save herself if she could, of course, and try her best, for that was the way she was made, but die with her face to the front if she must. Then later, when she charged Cochon with trying to kill her with a poisoned fish, her notion that she was to be delivered by death in the prison, if she had it, and I believe she had, would naturally be greatly strengthened, you see. But I am wondering from the trial, Joan was asked to definitely name the time that she would be delivered from prison. I've always said that I was not permitted to tell you everything. I am to be set free, and I desire to ask the leave of my voices to tell you the day. That is why I wish for delay. Do your voices forbid you to tell the truth? Is it that you wish to know matters concerning the King of France? I tell you again that he will regain his kingdom, that I know as well as I know that you sit here before me in this tribunal. She sighed, and after a little pause added, I should be dead but for this revelation, which comforts me always. Some trivial questions were asked her about St. Michael's dress and appearance. She answered them with dignity, but one saw that they gave her pain. After a little, she said, I have great joy in seeing him, but when I see him, I have the feeling that I am not in mortal sin, she added. Sometimes St. Margaret and St. Catherine have allowed me to confess myself to them. Here was a possible chance to set a successful snare for her innocence. When you confessed, were you in mortal sin, do you think? But her reply did her no hurt. So the inquiry was shifted once more to the revelations made to the king, secrets which the court had tried again and again to force out of Joan, but without success. Now as to the signs given to the king. I have already told you that I will tell you nothing about it. Do you know what the sign was? Ah, as to that, you will not find out from me. All this refers to Joan's secret interview with the king, held apart though two or three others were present. It was known through Loiseleur, of course, that the sign was a crown and was pledge of the verity of Joan's mission. But that is all, a mystery until this day. The nature of the crown, I mean, and will remain a mystery to the end of the time. We can never know whether a real crown descended upon the king's head or only a symbol, the mystic fabric of a vision. Did you see a crown upon the king's head when you received the revelation? I cannot tell you as to that without perjury. Did the king have the crown at Rheims? I think the king put upon his head a crown which he found there, but a much richer one was brought him afterwards. Have you seen that one? I cannot tell you without perjury, but whether I have seen it or not, I have heard her say that it was rich and magnificent. They went on and pestered her to weariness about the mysterious crown, but they got nothing more out of her. The sitting closed. A long, hard day for all of us.